All right,
Hey.
folks, welcome back. I think we've got almost everyone back right now into the room. I hope you had a great discussion on service projects and things that you'd like to see happening in your community. So Paul is going to be setting up a whiteboard, and we are going to go through the ideas that the various groups came up with, and maybe some ideas that we can all share together. So let's start with group one. Who in group one would like to take the lead and tell us what they discovered in their discussions?
How do we know what group we were in?
Oh, okay. Everybody was assigned. Oops, let me just.
Should
Frank.
just been the room number.
Should have been the room number, yeah.
Frank, we were in group 3.
Okay, so alrighty. So could we have somebody from group one who would like to be who is assigned in room one?
We didn't necessarily do that. Ryan, do you want to go ahead, or I have some notes here? I got lost. I just bounced back into the meeting.
Okay.
So your notes might be better than mine, Dan. So how much?
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with going ahead. I'm kind of new, so do you want me to start?
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, is everybody back? Okay, we had a great group. We only had 3 people. I'm new. I just joined last fall, and Alex and Ryan have been members for a long time. They both joined because they were asked. So interesting, especially to us newer members, that making sure that we're asking. It's as simple as that. I actually have been involved with service most of my adult life, and as my kids got older, I lost that group of people to do my service with, you know, their religious ed class or their Boy Scouts. So I saw our president, Sherry Miller, in the paper a lot at events, making a difference that were close to my heart. So I saw Rotary in my small community in action, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Great. Now, did you have some service projects that got you excited and that you were part of in your club?
Yeah, I have to tell you, we all said, reason we're excited about being in Rotary and staying in it is that all you have to do is ask, and people are there to help you. As a new person, I'm an interior designer. One of the gentlemen who has been with our group for years brought someone to a dinner meeting who worked with refugees through Journey's End, refugee services. And as a group, we collectively said, well, we'll build a welcome kit, you know, which included like everything in a kitchen, everything in a bathroom for a family. And as we put it out there through my church, which was awesome, the whole community, I said to Dick Earn, who had brought the project to us, I said, I want to do that whole house. I didn't want to just do the setup for the kitchen and the bath. And we got enough donations, and they really let me take the lead on the project because it was something I do for a living. And everybody in Rotary is just so awesome to work with. How can I help? What can we do? And we ended up doing and moved them in March. It was for a family of 7 who had nothing, had been brought here from Afghanistan in flight, and we got furniture donated. I bought things inexpensively with donations through Facebook Marketplace. We furnished an entire house, kitchen, dining room, living room, playroom, and 3 bedrooms for this family, and it was incredible. Our community, our churches, and our small little Rotary group, which probably has less than 20 members, coming together with friends, family. Amazing event.
That's fun. That's fantastic. It's great to see, some of the projects like, settling a refugee family. That's something that many of us wouldn't have thought about. Well, we certainly think right now with both Afghanistan and Ukraine. So
yes, very much so with Ukraine. You're right. And I think sometimes the Afghanistan people are the forgotten people, you know, because people were not as on board with that, but it was amazing. But both Alex and Ryan said too that they like the second question, what got us excited, kind of transitioned into the third one. What kind of projects do you think your group would like to work with? Is Ryan said he likes things. He loves doing the projects because unlike at work where you just do a piece of something, you're usually involved, especially with our small groups, from beginning to end. So someone will toss up an idea and be excited about it. It becomes infectious. You know, then we all get on board and everyone's happy to do their part. You know, people interject and have opinions. We take from that and then move forward. There's not, you know, a lot of negativity. Also, said, I think by Ryan, was that he loves and gets excited about projects that give positive feedback from the community. So he mentioned some projects I wasn't familiar with, but he said then he gets feedback from the community and they say, you know, they are excited about it, or they're really affected by it. They see that Rotary was involved with it. And then Alex said too, she gets excited about being part of a movement of, like right now, she has such a focus on getting young people involved with her Rotary, you know, in their 30s. And even in our group too, I'm in my 50s and I'm considered one of the young people, which is crazy and amazing, but we're doing the same thing, opening it up and getting new people. So not necessarily doing a project for those in need, but building and strengthening our own Rotary within the community.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you, Diane. That was a great amount of feedback from your group. On to room 2. Who would like to take the lead for room 2?
Hi, I'm Lisa Ram from the Rotary Club of St. Catherine South. I was in group number 2 with Jim. Jim and I are both past presidents, so that was interesting. And we both happen to be chair of the fundraising committees for our club. And we were there with Debbie and Kathleen, who are new members. So that was quite interesting. We had a chat about why we joined Rotary. And Jim joined because he had moved back to his community and his brother-in-law had invited him. And he's pretty happy to be doing community projects. And it's really nice for him to be able to reconnect with a lot of people from his past and that he hasn't seen in a while. Debbie is retired. And she was wanting to do some community work and services that she'd done in the past as well. And she was invited from some women that she had met in a cleanup project that she had done. And she's quite interested in doing a lot of service projects and so on. So she was very happy to join Rotary. And Kathleen is a lifelong volunteer and she was trying to find some connections and she's a new member. And she wants to be involved in service projects. I belong to the May Court Club of St. Catharines, which is a ladies' service club, and we did a joint venture for many years with the Rotary Club of St. Catharines South. So it was an easy transition for me. But all of us were asked by other people. Kathleen found out about it by someone, and then she investigated it herself. But we're finding that the main theme is that people are being asked. So I think it's very important that we all take away to ask people to join. I've brought in a couple members to our club, and of course I've asked them to come to meetings, and our club requires you to go to 6 different either meetings or socials or something like that to see if the person's actually interested in Rotary, because we don't want people joining and then quitting, you know, for whatever reason. So we really make sure by having a minimum of 6 interactions that they really know what they're sort of going to become involved in and whether it's a good fit. So the service projects, Jim was commenting about how it's good to team up with existing organizations, and it can also help increase membership by going with existing organizations and meeting up with people. And Debbie and Kathleen are really involved with the different cleanup projects, and Kathleen is involved with the Peace Fellowship. For myself, our club, we have a lot of service projects that we do. And we just did the big lake watershed cleanup just last week. And we do a lot of international projects and things like that. So I think we all find that it's a great way to stay connected with people. And we sort of ran out of time, so we didn't move forward with the final question of, what projects would you like to see move forward? But everybody seems to be pretty gung-ho on the cleanup projects as we discussed.
Fantastic. It's amazing how people get so excited about cleaning up garbage. It's it's hilarious. But I find that it's a theme throughout all of Rotary. We all love to go out and pick up garbage. So it's cool. Anyways, thank you very much, Lisa. And moving on to room 3.
Sure. Thanks, Phil. So room 3 was represented by Scott from Fort Erie, Joanne from Norfolk, and Steve is with the Kenmore Club. We basically all joined because we were asked to join, or we liked what we saw was happening within the community in regards to service. Joanne was looking for a reason, a way to set an example for her children to join Rotary and be involved with service projects. Scott has stayed with Rotary because of the service projects that their community is involved in. Steve commented that there's only so much time to help and thought Rotary would be a good way to do that. In regards to service projects, you're quite right, Phil. We like picking up garbage. Something I introduced to my year as governor, Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup, thinking that it was something we could all get involved in because the Great Lakes Watershed encompasses all of our clubs. If you're on Lake Erie or Lake Ontario or not, you're on the Erie Canal, you're on the Niagara River, you're on a creek that goes into those areas. What shocked me about that, and it goes back to Phil's comment, is that grew to 15 districts across all of the Great Lakes. So, and is carrying on today. Joanne talked about the fact that their club have done service projects with 2 other clubs in the area. So Simcoe, Norfolk, and Delhi, and that started 4 years ago with flower arrangements that they put together delivered to nursing homes. This is an idea that Melissa Schrock had, that clubs could work together on service projects. They've planted daffodils and trees on a trail as well. In the last 2 years, they've done feminine hygiene projects where they've collected feminine hygiene products and then distribute those to within the community. Our club in Font Hill, something I brought to our club when I joined 10 years ago was the idea of a Mudfest challenge. So basically a Tough Mudder. We had a place to do it with 120 acres and lots of water, lots of mud, lots of hills. And I remember bringing it to the club executive, and one of our members, who was a longstanding Rotarian and past president of the 2 clubs, said to me, "Frank, we're Rotary. We do Ribfest. We do golf tournaments. We don't do mud." And I said, "Well, maybe we could start." And he says, "Well, if you're good enough to take this on, get a committee together and do it." So we did that for 7 years. It was very successful. It helped us to involve Interact, Rotaract, get some young people out. We actually got some membership out of that as well. So those are some of the things that we have done collectively.
That's fantastic. And I got to participate in one of those mud fests, and it was so much fun. Way more fun than a golf tournament, frankly. So there you go. You got to do it again. So
yeah, if they knew how bad a golfer I was, they'd say, "Yeah, you belong in a muddy field,
yeah, for sure.
not a fairway."
Well, thanks, Frank. Appreciate all that information. And moving on to room 4.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby. I'm a member of UB Rotaract, so I'm a young person here. And our group discussed service projects in the community. And our main takeaways of that discussion were de-emphasizing making money and emphasizing putting the community first. So what this means is we should be focusing on participatory events. So a lot of people in Rotaract join solely because they want to support the community and volunteer. So it's really important that we do a lot of events that focus around community involvement. And some events that we discussed were Meals on Wheels. That's something that doesn't require any money. It's a way to serve the community and provide some food to people who need it. And other events were a luncheon. So having lunch with community members like students, going into the schools and asking students if they would like to go to luncheon and potentially get a scholarship. So Meals on Wheels, the luncheon, and also a feminine product hygiene, which another member also discussed. So all these events are ways that we can decrease the emphasis for fundraising and increase the emphasis for community involvement, because that's what it's really about. It's about supporting the community, not always about making as much money as possible.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Abby. And that's so important these days, especially for younger people. And we're all trying to get more younger people into our Rotary clubs. And with the prices of everything going through the roof, with the price of fuel going through the roof, with the price of housing, I mean, gee whiz, I don't know what it's like in New York State, but here in Southern Ontario, you know, an average starter home is, even for a townhouse in the Hamilton area, you're looking at $750 to $1,000 to like $900,000. If you're just starting out, it's really tough. So if we want to attract more younger people, we can't be concentrating on, you know, lots of $25 lunches and big expensive gala events. We have to be concentrating on our hands-on type projects that can get people excited and enthused, and not just thinking about money. We still need those galas. We still need the money, no doubt about that. But if we want to bring in those new people, I think having the projects that are not strictly money oriented is really, really important. Thanks. So on to group 5. Who's in group 5 or room 5? Nobody? I thought there was 6 rooms. Is there anybody? Oops. Is there anybody in room 6? Okay, maybe there isn't a room 5 and room 6. Maybe
No,
we're
no, no,
done.
no, I was room 6.
Oh, okay, we got a room 6. So nobody was taken for room 5.
Ding, 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 room
All right,
6.
well, thanks, Melissa. You're on.
So in our room 6, you had 2 PDGs, so you can imagine that we probably talked about everything. And we had Lauren from Fort Erie Club. So yes, we all agreed. We were asked, and of course, you know, that was my first date with my husband. So yes, I was asked to join Rotary. Lauren was born into it, and I'd like to think that I've created 2 more that are future Rotarians. So you either were born into it or you've been asked. As far as types of service projects, we looked at this slightly differently, but maybe a lot in line with what Abby was saying. And some of the projects, like Lauren's Roses projects, that has value in service in unforeseen ways. So he mentioned, you know, that the year they didn't do it, how much it was missed by their community. But on the flip side, how many times as you as Rotarians, and I have done this, have said, listen, can I just give you the $100 and get out of the pancake breakfast? Like the $4,000 you're going to raise, we got 40 members, we're all in for 100, we're done, right? And what you really need to show your club is that the camaraderie, the fellowship, and the connections that you're making amongst yourselves are just as important as the connections you're making with your community. Another interesting thing that I'd like to add in terms of service projects is sometimes those service projects, I think, need to be service that we as a club give to our community. And what I mean by that is I'm going to talk about that pancake breakfast for a minute. Pancakes and pasta are really cheap. And for a club to throw on a free spaghetti dinner or a free pancake breakfast as a way to give back to that community that we are constantly tapping for donations that goodwill could actually go a long way. It is a form of service as well. And it gives the community a way to say, oh my God, I can go get free pancakes. Awesome. Come get pancakes. I'm serving you. But at that same time, you've been able to touch one more time the opportunity to teach and engage people in what Rotary does. And you've got a way for them to do it. You know, I'm getting a free meal out of this. All right, fine. Kind of like a timeshare. I'll sit and listen to your spiel if I can have some free pancakes or pasta, right? So who knows who's going to be inspired by that? So that's all we've got to add.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Melissa. That's some great information. And who doesn't love pancakes and pasta? As a runner, that's my go-to all the time. It's every Saturday and every Sunday. So it's awesome. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for your participation. Paul, you're going to make that whiteboard available to people in the chat, I think. Great. And if you can stop sharing your screen so we can get back to the main room.
Yep.
All right, wonderful. So I've placed another document into our chat that you can download. It's there under D7090 service projects. I don't know if you can see it, and I'll bring it up here, and then I will share the screen. This is a fantastic document for you to use. Where did it go? Here we go. Just minimize this. So this was created by our very own Margaret Andrews, who was our literacy chair for the longest time and is still passionate about literacy here in our district. So what you want to look at when you're considering your projects is the 7 areas of focus that Rotary now wants us to look at. So those, of course, are the 7 across the top: the peace building and conflict resolution, disease prevention, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health, basic education and adult literacy, community economic development, and the environment. So these are the areas that you would be best to focus on for your projects. And what you can do is you can brainstorm ideas. You can empty out these boxes on your own and brainstorm ideas under each one of these categories for your club. So here's some simple examples. You know, creating the little lending libraries. That was an outstanding project that is still ongoing. A lot of clubs have little lending libraries going into their communities. Volunteer mentoring, youth programs, youth mentoring. Under the environment, of course, we've all just participated or about to participate in a Great Lakes watershed cleanup project, which has been fun. It's been, again, got us all together, got us out in the community, got some great work done, as well as some fantastic PR. I don't know how many of you got thank yous when you were out on the path on the waterfronts, but I certainly did, and lots of my fellow Rotarians had people coming up to them saying, thank you so much for your service. And that does so much good for our reputation of what Rotary does in the community. Health and wellness. So many of our clubs have blood donor clinics. Chat benches and buddy benches have been placed all over our district. Lots of great ideas that you can read through on your own afterwards if you download that document. And then, of course, you can add many of your own. Food security has always been a big part of what Rotary has been doing. Everything from food bank, food collections, community gardens, and so on, healthy eating initiatives. Lots of school food programs have been a huge part of what we've done as Rotarians. Family well-being is something that you see a lot of happening in our areas as well. And personal hygiene products are huge, especially for women, young women, being able to get access to the products they need for their menstrual cycles each month. That they can get, obviously, all these women in the room know it can get really, really expensive. And if you're somebody who is disadvantaged, help is definitely needed there. And one area of service, which many of us haven't thought a lot about, what we should be thinking a lot more about, is the honoring Indigenous peoples and getting together with communities who are Indigenous and seeing how we can help and how they can educate us as to what they need and how they can build relationships between our communities. Another great way to think about different projects is to look at our calendar that we have, the Rotary themes, and find out or come up with some ideas, brainstorm ideas that you can do based on the theme each month. So there's all the themes for the year coming up. And you can take this document and brainstorm with it at your club. So something that is useful, and thanks very much to Margaret for producing this for us. So we are.
Well, there was a
3 minutes.
question in the chat on where to find that. It's just on the district website, right?
It's actually in our chat box. I popped it in there. So if you scroll through the chat box, it was popped in there at 9:38. My eyes aren't so great. So it was zip up to 9:38. I popped it in there. You can download it right from the chat box.
Not seeing it.
You're not seeing it? Came from me to everyone. Okay, well, that's a good question then. So if I'll try to get it out to everybody then via email after the presentation. I'll send it all out to the whole group once I've got everybody's email addresses. Okay, so that's basically all we've got, folks. We have 2 more minutes. Any final comments from anyone? No. Okay. Sounds
Good session, Phil. Lots of good ideas, lots of interaction. It was. I'm very glad I joined in.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Frank. We appreciate you being here. And everybody enjoy the rest of the morning. There's some great talks coming up at 10:25, I think it is, for your next room. So yep, 10:25. So thanks so much for participating. Thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of your Rotary morning.
Well designed. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Paul.
And thanks so much for Paul too, being here today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You
Nice
too.
session,
Bye-bye.
Phil.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks for good session, Phil.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thanks to Paul again. So everyone can just hit the end there. See you all in the next group.